Hello and welcome, fellow digital soldiers, to True Reporting. It is the 6th of September, and on today's podcast, we have a couple articles to get to, also some memes to round off the podcast. In today's show, we can see here that from the Zero Hedge, a major university study finds, in quote, a fire did not bring down Tower 7 on September 11th. My friends, I believe here in the very near future and through on out that we will be getting more and more information about what actually occurred on September 11th. Also, Hurricane Dorian makes landfall in North Carolina, and the ICE agents arrest nearly 40 illegal immigrants suspected of violating human rights. We've got to keep these people out of our country, come in vetted and legally. My friends, before we get into today's podcast, it's good to be back. Would you please welcome my sponsor, MyPatriotSupply.com. Hey guys, Thomas with True Reporting here, and I wanted to tell you about my sponsor, My Patriot Supply. Did you know that September is National Preparedness Month? And with Hurricane Dorian bearing down on the East Coast, you better be prepared. And I am, because I have My Patriot Supply, and I have 4 weeks worth of food that gets delivered to me in this beautiful tote. Inside this tote, we see here I have 4 weeks worth of food: Maple Grove oatmeal, Traveler's stew, homestyle potato soup, so on and so forth. I am prepared and I am ready to go. All I need is a pot of boiling water and to dump in one of these packets, and I am good to go. And for the month of September, National Preparedness Month, My Patriot Supply will be giving this away for a $100 discount off. This is huge, my friends, so take advantage of it and go to preparewithtruereporting.com. That is preparewithtruereporting.com to receive your discount today. Thanks, guys. Be safe and enjoy the podcast. All right, guys, before we get into today's podcast, I want to thank each and every one of you who sent in amazing gifts and letters and just everything to my P.O. Box. It was overwhelming to check that out today. I have not looked at the P.O. Box in over a month. It was piled up. It was amazing. The love and support is abundant, and I am totally for it. It is so kind of you to do that. I will be probably doing a live stream here in the next couple days, and I will be reading some stuff that you guys sent to me, if that's okay with you. Obviously, nothing too personal, but I just want to, say thank you, and that it meant the world to me to read that stuff today and to, just open up all the gifts. It was great. I'm kind of at a loss for words, to be honest. Guys, before we also get into today's podcast, would you please go ahead and click the notification bell so when I post to this channel, you will get the alert and you will be the first to know. Also, please go ahead and click that like button. The more likes that this video receives, the more times it is recommended to other viewers, thus more eyes on the truth. And with that being said, my friends, let's go ahead and hop into it. This is True Reporting. So from the Zero Hedge from today, major university study finds a fire did not bring down Tower 7 on 9/11. So yes, if you didn't know, if you've been living in a cave for the past 15 years, 20 years, whatever the number is, you would obviously know that there were 3 towers that went down on September 11th. It says, on September 11, 2001, at 5:20 p.m., World Trade Center Building 7 suddenly collapsed into its own footprint, falling at freefall speed for 2.5 seconds of its 7-second complete destruction. World Trade Center Tower 7 was not hit by a plane. After it collapsed, Americans were told that office fires caused a unique, never-before-seen, complete architectural failure, leading to the building collapsing into its own footprint at the rate of gravity. Despite calls for the evidence to be preserved, New York City officials had the building's debris removed and destroyed in the ensuing weeks and months, preventing a proper forensic investigation from ever taking place. 7 years later, federal investigators concluded that World Trade Center 7 was the first steel-framed high-rise ever to have collapsed solely as a result of normal office fires. Naturally, skeptics have been questioning the official story for some time, and after moving from the realm of conspiracy theory into the realm of science, an extensive university study has found that the official story of the fire causing the collapse is simply not true. Show this to your normie friends, please. Please show this to them. Show this to your fans or your friends and family, because this is proof. It's going to be coming out more and more. You don't think our president knows what took place? He was there when it happened. You are a fool if you don't think that he has been briefed of this. He knows exactly what happened. This week, architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth announced their partnership with the University of Alaska Fairbanks in releasing a draft report of an in-depth 4-year study on what actually brought down World Trade Center 7. 4 years of information that they have been studying to come out here very soon. According to the press release, the release of the draft reports began a 2-month period during which the public is invited to submit comments. The final report will be published later this year, according to the study's authors. The UAF research team utilized 3 approaches for examining the structural response of World Trade Center 7 to the conditions that may occurred on September 11, 2001. We first simulated the local structural response to the fire loading that may have occurred below floor 13, where most of the fires in World Trade Center 7 are reported to have occurred. Second, we supplemented our own simulation by examining the collapse initiation hypotheses developed by the National Institute of Standards and Technology. Third, we simulated a number of scenarios within the overall structural system in order to determine what types of local failures in other locations may have caused the total collapse to occur as observed. After conducting comprehensive modeling and studying countless scenarios, the study's authors J. Leroy Husley, PhD, PESE, UAF, Zili Kwan, PhD, Bridge Engineer, South Carolina Department of Transportation, and Fin Zhao, PhD, Associate Professor at Nanyang University of Science and Technology Department of Civil Engineering, concluded the following. A fire did not cause the collapse of the World Trade Center 7 on 9/11, contrary to the conclusions of the NIST and private engineering firms that studied the collapse. Private engineering firms. I wonder who picked those, right? The secondary conclusion of our study is that the collapse of the World Trade 7 was a global failure involving the near simultaneous failure of every column in the building. That sounds like a demolition, does it not? Though the results of this study cannot be dismissed, it completely destroys the narrative that has been shoved down the throats of Americans for nearly 20 years. What's more, the study backs up thousands of other researchers, scientists, and engineers who have been pointing this out for years. In fact, the TFTB reported in July, history was made in regard to 9/11 as New York area fire commissioners called for a new investigation into the tragic events that unfolded that day. The resolution called for a new investigation due to the overwhelming evidence that pre-planted explosives caused the destruction of the 3 World Trade Center buildings. This is coming out today, friends. This is coming out today, and it's not going to go away. On July 24, 2019, the Franklin Square and Munson Fire District, which oversees a volunteer fire department serving a hamlet of 30,000 residents just outside of Queens, New York, became the first legislative body in the country to officially support a new investigation into the events of 9/11, according to architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth. The resolution calling for a new investigation was drafted by Commissioners Christopher Goya, and it was immediately and unanimously approved by 5 commissioners. We are a tight-knit community, they say, and we never forget our fallen brothers and sisters. You better believe that when the entire fire service of New York State is on board, we will be an unstoppable force, said Commissioner Christopher Goya, adding, "We were the first fire district to pass this resolution. We won't be the last." And my friends, I believe that this is not going away. I believe that this will be around for many years to come, and we will be getting full proof, full transparency of what took place that day. We already know, right? We already know what is going to take place. And when people find out, when the normies find out, think of a second great awakening. Think of how many people will start questioning what reality actually is and who the enemy is against us, correct? Let's move on to Hurricane Dorian. Hurricane Dorian makes landfall in North Carolina. Yesterday, it was on the coast of my state, South Carolina. Substantial flooding. I do not know of a death count or anything like that. There may not have been any in South Carolina. But my friends, if you ever watch another storm, which there are more tropical storms developing in the Atlantic and in the Gulf, please just watch the propaganda that the Weather Channel tosses out there. It is unbelievable. Just unbelievable to watch. Hurricane Dorian's eye made landfall in the United States for the first time, moving on to Cape Hatteras on North Carolina Outer Banks on September 6th, which is today. The landfall came several days after the storm decimated parts of the Bahamas. Please, you've seen the videos of what took place in the Bahamas. Please pray for those people. It is not looking good. The hurricane, now a Category 1, made landfall at 8:35 a.m. Dorian had a maximum sustained winds near 90 miles per hour and a minimum central pressure of 956 millibars, the National Hurricane Center said in an alert. The weather flow station in Aracoke, North Carolina, recently reported a sustained wind of 73 miles per hour and gusts of 89. Other stations of Hatteras High School and Buxton both recently reported a minimal central pressure of 957 millibars, the center said. The storm was moving northeast at 14 miles per hour. A storm surge warning was in effect from Surf City, North Carolina to Poquoson, Virginia, as well as other parts of Virginia. A hurricane warning was in effect from the Little River Inlet to the North Carolina-Virginia border, as well as the Pamlico and Albemarle Sounds of Nova Scotia, Canada. Continuing on, it looks like there was minor flooding. This was in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. That's about 4.5 hours from me. North Carolina Governor Rory Cooper told people in the state to shelter in place and stay off the roads until the storm passes. I do not see of any speaking of deaths or anything like that. I think there was just a substantial amount of rain. We're flooding like crazy. I have not seen this in 32 years. So yeah, a lot has taken place, guys. These slow-moving storms do dump a lot of water. Don't go driving in it. Okay, that's the way people die. So just stay off the roads, and if they tell you to evacuate, just evacuate, guys, and just stay safe out there. We're all looking out for all my friends in the Southeast, whether you were in Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, right, guys? Just be safe out there. We're thinking about you. And ICE arrests nearly 40 illegal immigrants suspected of violating human rights. Oh, that's exactly what they do. They are the foot soldiers of the deep state. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officials, ICE, last month arrested nearly 40 illegal immigrants who were known or suspected human rights violators, according to a statement. The federal agents arrested 39 illegal immigrants, 30 males and 9 females across the nation between August 27th and 29th during Operation No Safe Haven. Some of those arrests have U.S. convictions including domestic violence, drug distribution, firearm possession, robbery, and fraud. Get rid of them. Deport them. Don't keep them here. The illegal immigrants arrested in the operation all had outstanding removal orders and were subjected to reparations to their countries of origin. Get them out of here, right? ICE will not allow war criminals and human rights abusers to use the U.S. as a safe haven. Acting Director Matthew Albent said in the statement, "We will never stop looking for them, and we will never cease seeking justice for the victims of their crimes." They're going to stay on top of it, guys. Those arrested come from different countries of origin, including El Salvador, Guatemala, China, and Sudan. Among those arrested are 14 illegal aliens from Central America who have been implicated in numerous human trafficking-related crimes, including the capture, arrest, and transport of civilians who were subsequently mistreated and, in some cases, beaten, electrocuted, and killed. These people do not belong in America. This wall cannot go up fast enough. And I'm so happy that we have a president that takes care of this problem. My friends, to end off the podcast, let's go ahead and hop into some memes. A lot to do with 8chan. Let's do this. All right, guys. So we know yesterday the testimony of Jim Watkins took place. It was behind closed doors. If you would like to somewhat find out what took place yesterday, you can follow CodeMonkeyZ on Twitter. Just check that out. He is very close with Jim Watkins and 8chan. So we need to stay on top of that. This is just the propaganda that the mainstream media puts on 8chan. People who are causing these shootings that they are white supremacists, so on and so forth. This is not the case, my friends. These are actually some anonymous posts that were from the board last year, and it's just an awakening, guys. These people are changed people, as well as the majority of all of us. It says here, these are just a few examples. From 226:18, this whole Q situation has converted me from atheist to Christian. Mock me if you must. I've been keeping it to myself, but same here. That's good to hear. Jesus is the only way. God bless you, brother. I went to church for the first time in over a decade yesterday. I've never felt the belief before, but I physically feel it now. That's encouraging and good to hear, Anon. A prayer I have is that all of this evil being exposed will awake the masses. Looks like it has started to be answered. You know, I was raised Christian, but drifted in the number of years. I'm absolutely 100%, 110% a man of God now. This has shown me good and evil exist literally, not metaphorically. Can you feel it? The elites are losing control on the design reality that they used to easily craft for people to operate within. That feeling of chaos all around you isn't impending doom. It's the apocalypse, the literal unveiling of what this reality has always been, chaos. We often feel the doom and gloom of uncovering dark secrets, but understand that what is happening is not your world getting darker. These effed up things have always occurred. Kings had concubines, child sex slaves, warlords waged unnecessary wars in the name of some god, but in reality only for personal gain. Systems were rigged against common folk, like caste systems, etc. If you study history, you will see that one major thing has changed in recent years, and it's not that the world got more vile and effed up. We just have the power to see it now. Infotainment propaganda, and bullcrap have been like looking at the world through a screen. As you research and start to gain in knowledge, you are just shining a light on the world around you. You see, the world isn't getting darker. You could just see into those dark corners now. This is the secret they never wanted you to know. The thing that shines that light on the scandal or the conspiracy is you. Simply through knowledge and awareness, you can become enlightened, a source of light in a dark world. All this talk of a God that watches over you and keeps you in line and makes you submit to any state is bullcrap. If there is anything remotely close to a God, it exists in everything, including you. Today, we have the ability to seek knowledge and gain more knowledge than any other common person in human history. That includes the tactics that the powerful use to play the weak and voiceless. It's not that the end of the world is coming. It's that the end of the world, as the elites know, it is upon us already. They know what we know now. And the more research you do and the more open-minded you are, the harder it is to play you for a fool. The average human today learns more in a year than most humans used to know in their entire lives. For most of history, humans have been illiterate, and only their rulers and leaders could transmit and receive knowledge and the ideas through text. Literally, right now, you have been reading all this crap I just wrote. Read more than most humans would ever in their whole entire life read. And now, with the power of the internet, the average person is waking up. Almost 2/3 of people polled in a recent poll do not believe Epstein committed suicide. That should tell you something. They are losing control of the narrative and of the invented reality. The apocalypse isn't the end of the world. It's the great unveiling. And they are crapping their pants right now, especially watching Puerto Rico, Hong Kong, and the yellow vests in France. Add to that Epstein waking up so many people. This isn't an era of dark. It's the era of where people who have been treated like the numbers are finally shining a light in the dark corners where elites like to hide and do their dirty work. Keep researching. Keep an open mind to all possibilities, and never let what you learn make you depressed, because it is what's happening whether you knew it or not. At least now you can raise awareness of it and hopefully lead to the change down the line. This isn't the end of the world. Times aren't more dark or evil or more effed up. This is the great unveiling. This is the apocalypse. And my friends, that's exactly what this is. And last but certainly not least, we see here, my friends, Jim Watkins, this is the board owner, is supporting America, as you can see with the pins here on his tie, and also supporting our favorite Anon 17, as you can see right here on his collar. This man is a patriot. He wants the best for us. He is telling us over and over that 8chan is not a place for violence. It is an open notebook, a blank piece of paper that we are allowed to put free speech onto, and that is how America should be. It is our God-given right to say whatever we want to say, correct? That is our God-given right, and he is giving us that opportunity through these message boards, and it is very powerful that we keep this alive because we are the back channel to freedom, correct? To Q+, to 17, to these operations that we need to know. These anons have got to get this information to us so that we can spread it worldwide. Remember, the world is watching. My friends, if you found this informative and you enjoyed it, please subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on Twitter at TRUreporting, and don't forget to leave a like. You can also donate to this channel and keep it afloat by going to my PayPal, Patreon. The love and support going to the P.O. Box is overwhelming, so please, friends, continue to do so. We also have TRUreporting merch. Always remember that. If you want to support this channel, these are the ways to do it, and those links are in the description box below. My friends, have a wonderful weekend. Be safe out there. Be kind and loving to one another. And I will speak with you all very soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.